Beneath us lie the silent sands of Saqqara, the ancient city of the dead. The scorching desert air trembles, hiding secrets that are thousands of years old. But the real mystery does not begin here, on the surface. It begins deep underground, in the cold breath of the subterranean world we are about to enter.
A long corridor, carved directly into the rock, leads into darkness. And here, inside these sinister galleries, we encounter something that breaks every familiar idea about ancient Egypt. 24 monolithic granite boxes. Each one weighs around 100 tons. Each one is cut with an almost impossible laser-like precision. Official archaeology calls them sarcophagi for the sacred Apis bulls. But that explanation turns to dust the moment you start asking the right questions. Because these boxes are not merely tombs, they are evidence. Evidence in a case about technologies that should not have existed. Let us return to the year 1851. The French archaeologist Auguste Mariette, following descriptions left by the ancient Greek historian Strabo, discovers an entrance buried beneath the sand. He clears it and enters a system of underground galleries known as the Serapeum. Inside, within the niches, he finds these colossal boxes. Most of them are open and empty. Their lids, weighing 30 tons, have been shifted aside. Only one sarcophagus remains sealed. Imagine the excitement of the first man to open it. Dozens of workers, using levers and winches, struggle with enormous effort to move the lid. And what do they find inside? Not the mummy of a sacred bull surrounded by gold and jewels. Instead, a chaotic mass of bitumen and shattered bones. As if someone had hastily thrown some kind of organic waste inside and poured resin over it. This did not look like a sacred burial. It looked like an attempt to hide something. And this is the first crack in the official version. But the real mystery is not in the contents. It is in the shell itself. Let us forget about the bulls for a moment and look at these objects through the eyes of an engineer. First, the weight. 70 tons for the box itself, and 30 tons for the lid. That is the weight of a modern Abrams tank, or even a passenger aircraft. The official story asks us to believe that the Egyptians, using primitive ramps, ropes, and wooden rollers, not only transported these blocks from the Aswan quarry across 800 kilometers, but also lowered them into narrow underground corridors where even a group of 10 people could barely turn around. Three-dimensional modeling of this process shows a logistical collapse. The turning angles inside the tunnels are too sharp for a 100-ton object. One mistake, and the monolith would jam the passage completely. This was not merely difficult, it was almost impossible. Second, the material. This is not soft limestone. This is Aswan granite, one of the hardest stones on the planet. Its hardness on the Mohs scale is around 7. And what did the ancient Egyptians have? Copper, and later bronze tools, whose hardness does not exceed 3.5. Cutting granite with copper is like trying to saw through a steel rail with a plastic knife. To claim that these boxes were hollowed out by hand using diorite balls is to ignore physics. And now we come to the main point. The point that turns the mystery into a real thriller. Precision. The inner and outer surfaces of the boxes are perfectly flat, The corners are exactly 90 degrees. When engineers such as Christopher Dunn placed precision straightedges against the surfaces, not even a beam of light could pass between the metal and the stone. The deviations were measured in hundredths of a millimeter. This is a level of precision that today is achieved with CNC machines and used in the aerospace industry to manufacture critical components. Why would a coffin for a bull require precision comparable to the production of a lens for the Hubble telescope?
Let us compare. The official version says that thousands of slaves using copper chisels and stone hammers spent months, perhaps years, hammering each box into perfect form for a religious ritual. But the alternative hypothesis, based on the physical traces, says something else. We are not looking at traces of handwork. We see smooth concave surfaces, typical of processing by a high-speed cutting tool, removing granite as if it were butter. We see perfect radii inside the inner corners, something that only a milling machine could leave behind. The physical evidence on the stone screams of machine processing. So what are they, if not sarcophagi? Let us bring all the facts together. We have 24 sealed containers made from an extremely strong material, manufactured with technological precision unavailable to their supposed creators. They are empty, or they contain strange remains. They are hidden deep underground, inside a carefully designed complex. This forces us to look at their purpose from a completely different angle. What if their function was not ritual, but technological? Granite, especially granite rich in quartz, has piezoelectric properties. It can convert mechanical energy into electrical energy and back again. And it can also vibrate at a specific frequency. What if the Serapeum was not a necropolis, but part of some kind of energy device? What if the boxes were giant resonators or capacitors whose perfect geometry was critical to their operation? What if an ancient civilization possessed technologies based on vibration and the energy of the earth, and these so-called sarcophagi were its silent components? But there is another, more frightening version. Precision is not needed only for the operation of a mechanism. It is also needed for complete, absolute isolation. What if these boxes were not a source of energy, but containers for storing something extremely dangerous? Imagine a modern container for nuclear waste or biological weapons. It must be massive, durable, perfectly sealed, and designed to last for millennia. The Serapeum is the perfect storage facility, deep underground, inside a stable geological environment. What if these 24 boxes were created to isolate something from the world forever, something their creators could not control? Some artifact, a source of dangerous radiation, or even extraterrestrial biological material. In this light, the hurried burial of remains inside the only sealed box no longer looks like a ritual. It looks like an act of emergency quarantine. Hide it, seal it, forget it. So what is the Serapeum really? An awkward tribute to sacred animals, built in defiance of the laws of physics? Or a high-tech complex left behind by an unknown civilization, one that we are still unable to understand? Perhaps these are not tombs of gods, but a prison for something that frightened them. The stones of Saqqara remain silent, but their perfect edges ask a question that is deeply unsettling. What were they really hiding
in this eternal darkness? And what if, one day, we find the answer?